Hello and welcome back to Fusili Chemicals and the Open Synthesizer. Today we're going to be synthesizing metformin. So there's nothing much to talk about when it comes to metformin as the chemical itself. It's a medicine that is used to treat type 2 diabetes and some gestational diabetes. Now, you can find this information online, but there's really more to this. So I suggest you guys just read about it online. So what we're really only here for, what Fusili Chemicals is here for, is to actually formulate the stuff or actually formulate the compounds themselves. And this video is a demonstration of our new Molek Syntez 2000 machine. Now I'm gonna give you guys a full overview on why we upgraded in a separate video. But today I just wanted to talk about that just a little bit as I sort of demonstrate to you guys this compound metformin. So when we have our Molek Syntez machine, there are two main components of the machine. So we have the actual computation unit, which I'm using to run this program itself, Molek Syntez, and the actual synthesizers, which are outside the computer. I can't show you guys what that is because that's proprietary technology, but the point is what I do on the computation unit is that what this computation unit actually does is it performs quantum chemistry. Um, we perform quantum chemistry, and the data we get from those simulations, those computations, we feed them into the actual molecular synthesizers. And when the molecular synthesizers receive the data, they use it as a basis to perform better synthesizations. So when we started out with Fusili Chemicals, right, we had a not so capable computer that can perform some rudimentary computations in quantum chemistry. And it did that with only a singular MS CPU. So it had an MS CPU that wasn't that capable, but it could do the job. It wasn't very strong, but it could do the job of performing these computations and of course feeding them into the actual machines. But the thing is, it didn't have high fidelity, computational fidelity. What I mean by computational fidelity is the ability of these guys to compute at a much finer and finer detail. And when we can compute at a finer and finer detail, that means we have a more accurate output. You guys get me? So you can think of this like um sort of like playing a game. When you're playing an FPS game and you have low graphics, when you have low graphics, you can't quite see the enemy you're trying to shoot at. Like say you're a sniper in the game and you're trying to snipe someone from far away. Of course, when you have low graphics, that means your potato your PC is essentially potato, right? And your resolution is low, and that means your resolution is low. So that means you can't see the enemy much better. So you're gonna essentially miss them, right? So that's what we're doing here with these computations. If we have a MSCPU or if we have a computation unit that can perform a higher fidelity, if it can perform higher fidelity computations, we can essentially um, perform them more accurately. And the more accurate the data is, the better our molecular synthesizers will perform. So the original manufacturer of these molecular synthesizers are not me, or Fusili Chemicals. We merely use them. It's a secret. It's some secret company that we cannot state because, of course, proprietary technology. But nonetheless, they instructed us, or they told us, and we've known from experience that the machines themselves, the actual molecular synthesizers, they lock up whenever they experience a significant error in their synthesization um, process. So one of these errors is when, okay, so I want to bond two molecules together, right? But instead, what happens is the instruction that is sent to the machine during the simulation is actually a forward. So move the molecule forward on the build platform. So what it does is instead of bonding or removing hydrogen molecules from a molecule, it pushes the molecule and the molecules collide together and they release energy. So the machine detects that energy and it locks up and stops the reaction from happening so as to not waste energy or resources. So it does that. So it actually has errors whenever we perform low fidelity computations. So when we have higher fidelity when we do these computations, we essentially do away with error. We lessen the error. And that is what we get when we employ a dedicated MS GPU or molecular synthesization, graphics processing unit. Of course, MSCPU means the molecular synthesization central processing unit. So in our first iteration of this computation unit, or the first one that we use when we start modernizing here at Fusili Chemicals, it only had a MSCPU with an integrated MSGPU. But now with this 2000 upgrade, what we did when we upgraded this computation unit, we now have a much more capable computer that has a dedicated MS GPU. So when it does its main functions like send data, so these things continually send data to the molecular synthesizers. And that's already taxing on the MS CPU itself. So when we have a dedicated MS GPU, we essentially have a separate computer that can do higher fidelity computations in the quantum chemistry, essentially. And because we have higher fidelity, that means we can perform computations at a much more accurate resolution. You can say quote unquote resolution. And we have better data to feed into the actual molecular synthesizers. So enough about me talking about or being stoked about this upgrade. So I'm going to show you guys this metformin. So it's not it's not really that complicated, but here it is. So here we go. So I did something new with this version of metformin compared to our last one. We're in here. What I wanted to do was try out this feature of essentially pushing it away from the emitters, and it's a sort of it's already a hidden rule, or it's part of the operational manual that of these molecular synthesization machines is that when I move a molecule away from the emitter, it emits a new molecule, essentially, right? And because it emits a new molecule, I can take advantage of that feature and essentially use less symbols. So that means we're being more efficient when we use this technique. Okay. So since I have shown you guys already what metformin is, I want to show you guys a little something. So let's go back to the menu over here. So I'm already done with metformin. I'm about to do valnoctamide. And the reason why I have to do this again, you guys seen it in numerous of my videos before in my open synthesizer videos. I've shown you guys the menu already. All of the molecules are essentially unlocked already. And the reason why I have to unlock them again is because not only because I have a new computation unit, but essentially I need to have the computation unit be used to the subroutines of, you know, the actually synthesizing the molecules and doing the quantum chemistry, which whose data we feed into the machines or the actual molecular synthesizers. So this happens on every upgrade that we could possibly make. And any other company out there that uses the Molek Syntez machine will have to do this routine every time they do an upgrade. Now, of course, unlocking these molecules are not a hard thing. I can just essentially get the data from the older computation unit and put it here, but where's the fun in that? So what we're doing here with this new PC or with this new computation unit is we're essentially going to be doing all of these things again, but we're going to try to do them much more efficiently, right? So as to not put that much load on the MS GPU. So that's it for metformin and a little bit of updates on our Molek Syntez 2000 machine. And I'm gonna give you guys a overview of what all this even is and what even are we, Fusili Chemicals, right? I never give you guys a proper introduction to what our company is and what we did. All I did was give some tidbits and some little lore about our company, but I never really had a dedicated video to actually explaining what we are, what we do, what the Molek Synthes machine is, and of course all that good stuff. And of course get into the details, into the weeds of what exactly we do when we're running this Molek Synthes program and all that good stuff. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.